So, hello everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the session number 5. Hope you are all right. That you are doing fine writing your blogs. I already see that so some of the blogs are popping out. As a result of this bootcamp. So I see many of you started blogging. That's pretty nice to see. Maybe just a reminder when sharing your blog posts that are part of this bootcamp, or even any other insights or whatever you have to share about the bootcamp. You can use the official hashtag, which is Hashnode Bootcamp. I'll write it as usual. I will write in a chat. One thing also, what we have new is this Hashnode swag kit. So if you write a blog that has the most reactions for that day, then you will get surprised. I will also I will also paste a link so you can get more details about that. So yeah. Today's topic is something that probably you asked for. I mean, not directly, since this topic is predetermined with the session. With this schedule. But I saw it in a lot of QAs that you are asking this topic, and I think you will be enjoying it. And as always, use this feature questions tab here so that you can ask questions. After the session, we will also have 10 to 15 minutes so that we can answer those questions. That our speaker can answer. And just a short introduction about the speaker. We have Ruth Ikegah here today. She is a Python developer. She is a GitHub star, technical writer, open source enthusiast. She is all into involving everyone into the tech scene, developer scene. So she wants to make more and more developers coming and start learning. And also she talks people into open source projects, but don't tell anyone. So yeah, Ruth, thanks for being here and to be our guest. I will just go away, and the scene is all yours.
Thanks for having me. So just okay. All right. Hi everyone. Thanks Hashnode for having me, because I think in the last boot camp I was a participant, but hopefully today I'm a speaker, and I'm going to be talking on how to overcome writer's block as a beginner dev blogger. So Bruno has already given some brief info about me. I'll just do a quick recap. I'm Ruth Ikegah. I'm from Nigeria. I'm a Python developer, a technical writer. I just recently joined the GitHub Stars program. I'm a GitHub star, and I'm a cake lover. So I really love eating cakes. So it's everywhere around me. It's always on my bio that I really love eating cakes. So let's get started. So in this talk, in this session, what we'll talk about, it's what writer's block is, and the causes of writer's block, and how to actually overcome writer's block. So an introduction. So what is writer's block? So writer's block is like a condition associated with writing, in which like an author or a writer loses the ability to produce new work or experiences a creative slowdown. So it's like the inability to not produce new content, the inability to lose that vibe or that spark of writing, right? Like we lose that that enthusiasm, that flow of writing for a period of time. So you either lose the spark entirely, or you experience that creative, like that slowdown. You feel like you're not writing well enough, and sometimes you just stop and pause writing, right? So now, what are the causes, like the causes of writer's block? self-doubt, and criticism. So this, like, I think this is one of the predominant ones. Like, everybody goes through this. Even when you're not a writer, there's still that there are some, everybody goes through self-doubt, right? I go through self-doubt. So one of the causes of that inability to keep writing, you're actually a great writer, right? But there's that period where you feel, you do not feel it anymore. You do not feel that you're writing well anymore. So it can stem from self-doubt. You keep doubting yourself that, okay, I can't actually really do this. Or even when you see those articles you've actually written and they're really cool, but that inner critic in you says, I'm an imposter, right? I wasn't the one that wrote this article. It can't be me. It can't be me, right? So it actually stems from one of the causes. It stems from like self-doubt. Then when you start doubting yourself, then the criticism comes in. Like you begin to criticize yourself and say, I can't actually write. I'm not a good writer anyways. Mr. X or person X can do it more better than me. I'm not a good writer. So another thing, it stems from like running out of ideas. Probably you start blogging and you just feel you've run out of the ideas, or your topics aren't clicking anymore. Like you feel that the topics or your topic ideas are not just worth it, or they're like this self-doubt and criticism is one of the predominant causes of writer's block. So burnout. So it's not just sometimes you can be tired from other work, like you code, yeah. So you could be tired from other stuff, right? So it's not just about that self-doubt. You could be burnt out because I'm sure almost everyone here has experienced burnout. Right? Almost everyone here has experienced burnout, and it could be that you're burnt out, you're tired of you're tired of at that moment, right? So that's why you post your writing for a while, or that's why you feel like you've run out of ideas, or you feel like you're not getting that spark anymore, or your writing is not good anymore. So it could be that you're mentally fatigued, or you're physically fatigued, or you're just tired. So you mustn't blame yourself every time you experience what writer's block, or you experience that phase. It could be that you are burnt out at the moment, right? So another cause is perfectionism. So this, like, I think part of this defines, because later on in the session I'm going to be talking about my own experience with the writer's block, right? Because even me speaking here with you, I have experienced it. So later on I'm going to be like sharing a short, like my short experience with experiencing writer's block. So perfectionism is another thing. You always want that perfect draft, like that. It must look so cool. It must look unique. But in the writing process, it takes that first draft. After the first draft, there's now the next one where you modify this article. So if you get that wanting the perfect draft or topic or content to begin writing, you can start losing it from you can start experiencing or losing that writing zeal, or losing that blogging zeal you actually started with. So later on I'll still talk about how to overcome it. So another point I want to note out is the lack of motivation. So it could be now internal motivation, like the loss of desire to keep on blogging, or to keep on telling your story, or to keep on telling others about that new code snippet you just learned about, or that new skill you just acquired, or whatever your writing process is like. So it could be internal, like that loss of that internal motivation. It could be lack of external motivation, like attention and praise. So when you write articles and you don't get those interactions, or you feel like this article should actually hit it, like this article should actually get so many reactions, and you end up that 2 days has passed, you've written this article, and there are no the interactions were so little. Maybe we're getting, so that's lack of that external motive, because these things actually motivate you. It's not, I'm not saying it's wrong for you to want these things. These are motivators. Like when you get so much like responses about what you've written and how it helped someone, and you get people keep sharing your articles, it's really motivating. But when the lack of that external motivation can sometimes cause you to like experience writer's block, right? Or so now, I want to point out these questions. I would ask, are these questions familiar? Like everyone experiences writer's block. Like for me, I've had to ask myself these questions, or I've had to say these thoughts rather to myself, right? Like, oh, my last post did not even get, like I said in the last course, my last post did not even get enough interactions. Oh, Mr. X writes so well. I could never do that. Or let's say you pick up you get a topic, you pick up, you start writing the intro, and you be like, oh, I've lost this skill. Like look at the words I'm even using, like they're not even matching, right? You so if you start getting these thoughts, it's down that it's really very possible you are experiencing the writer's block. So I actually planned this session to be a little interactive. So I'm going to, for like 1 minute, I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. And the icebreaker is, I want you to put in the chat, I am a writer, because it's only writers that experience writer's block. So I want to get up to like 10 responses. So I'll go ahead. I think if I don't see 10, I'll tell Bruno that we are over with the session and let's just close. Yeah, I'm getting so many responses. Yeah, I need 10. Like it can be more than 10 though. Yeah. So because you have to acknowledge that you are a writer. Only writers experience writer's block. So you have to acknowledge that fact that you are a writer and you have that skill in you, right? So I think it's up to 10. You can keep dropping it, because I will be going back to my slide now. I won't be seeing them, but you can keep dropping I am a writer and self-acclaim that you are a writer, and that is why you are experiencing writer's block, or you will experience writer's block. Yeah. So I'll quickly go back to my slides. Sorry for this the break. Okay. Yeah. So thanks for everyone that participated in the icebreaker activity. Thank you so much. You can keep participating and keep telling yourself you are a writer, and that is why you are experiencing writer's block. So before, when Sai told me about this session, I was really very excited about it. So like last week I did a Twitter poll. I put up a Twitter poll. I just wanted to show you that you are not actually alone. Yeah, every writer, or at a point in your life, you definitely experience that point where you do not feel like writing, or you lose that spark. So I made this Twitter poll on Twitter, and I asked the question, have you experienced writer's block as a writer? How did you handle? And I made the poll, and you can see that let's analyze the people that answered yes, like 53%. We are going to be adding the people that say I don't know what it is, because actually they might have experienced it and they don't actually know it's writer's block, right? So you add up people that said yes and people that responded I don't know what it is you get 80 something percent, 84%, 84.4%. And that's to tell you that you are not alone, right? Just let me know. I said I was going to share my own story or my own experience with writer's block, and mine is really very funny. So I want you to know that if you would experience this, or if you are experiencing this, you are not alone, right? You and every writer or experiences that there's that point where they get to this. So like I said, I'm going to talk about my experience with writer's block. So first I'll share two experiences, because I've had like two, but one is mild, because it was during that was like three months back, I was in a boot camp, a training session, a mentorship session rather. It was going to run for 3 months, so I decided to commit to one article every week. So I want you to take note of the point of making commitment or creating a timeline. I know other speakers might have talked about this, but creating a timeline for writing. So I told myself I was going to use I was going to write an article each week about what I learned from the mentorship session. I was going to write an article. I was going to produce like 12 articles for 12 weeks. So I first told myself, okay, every Saturday I'll produce one article every Saturday. That's for every week, every week Saturday. Then somehow along the line, burnout came in, and laziness, some sorts like procrastination came in, and I missed giving that article or publishing my article on Saturdays. I missed that Saturday, publishing my articles on Saturdays. Then I wanted to. I felt bad at a point because this was like a commitment, and I take commitments really very seriously. So I felt a little bad at the moment that I wasn't committing to Saturdays. So I then shifted it, and I said, okay, for this week I missed, I'm going to give two. I'm going to give two articles in the next week to like make up for the other week. But along the line, I stopped. Like I think I was pretty overwhelmed with some stuff at that point, and I stopped. But that point, what actually helped me get back in track, because I had this project timeline. I had told myself, I had written it down that I was going to give out 12 articles for this program. I had written that down. So I had to go back to my inner chambers. I had to go and tell myself, you have this written down, you have to keep to it. So that's the mild one. So the second experience is right now. Okay, like last month I was a little busy with some stuff, and I stopped writing. Like throughout last month, if you go check my hash notes, like I think 2 weeks back, I was like, oh, I've lost my hash notes streak, right? I stopped because I was experiencing burnout, and like October was a really very long month for me. I was experiencing burnout, and I had to pause at the moment. I just stopped. I had those topic ideas I wanted to write, or like I have them written down somewhere, but I wasn't getting that vibe. I wasn't getting. I would try to write, but it wasn't coming. I was procrastinating them, and I kept procrastinating. So when Sai told me about this talk, I was like, this is actually within myself. I was like, this is actually what I'm going through right now. How do I give a talk about what I'm going through? Yeah. So last week I said, no, I have to try to get out of this phase. And I started writing. I've not published the article yet, but by tomorrow it should be published. I'm just doing some final edits. I started writing, and along the line I'm going to be sharing how you can overcome writer's block. So I have another icebreaker activity. Yeah. So this one is I'm going to use like 2-3 minutes for this. So I want you to think of your next topic idea, and put it. Someone said you can't see my slide. Is it visible now? Oh, sorry about that. Sorry, I went out of the slide for a minute. Oh yeah, I just went out of the slide because of the icebreaker activity. So this is actually the icebreaker activity I want you to engage in. So please put your next, just in 1 minute or two, just think of a topic idea, your next topic idea, and just put it in the chat. So I just need like I think I need like up to 6 or 5 to keep going. So just like your next topic idea, don't worry about it being so, don't worry about it being so perfect. just put in your next topic idea in the chat box. Let others see your next topic idea. Okay, I've gotten one, my tech journey. That's great. Roya Kilome. So I need more. I need more. Just a next topic idea you have in mind. Green IT, Lauren, that's nice. React with API is nice. Right, okay. State of blockchain, nice. Right, that's good. So see these amazing, wonderful topics. So I with this iceberg, I wanted you to know that you can actually think of. You see, in less than 1 minute, it was never up to 1 minute. We're able to think of this wonderful idea, right? We're able to think out a topic, and it's amazing. All the topics I'm seeing right here, they are all amazing. So let's switch back to my slides. Sorry, I'm always breaking. Okay. Yeah, so thanks for everyone that engaged in the icebreaker activity. You can keep putting them in, dropping your wonderful ideas, and I'll still get to see them when I come back to the stage. Yeah. So now, how do you overcome writer's block? I'll say there's no particular order. It's something personal, right? But these are the steps I took, and it's actually helping me right now. Like I told you, I have my article ready to publish. Right, so these are the steps I took, and you can actually follow your own pattern, but I took the steps, right? Now find your cause and deal with it. That's like the first thing you should do, I think, because if you do not know why you are experiencing this, I don't think you can actually deal with it. So we talked about at the start of the session, we talked about some causes, right? So find, is it burnout? Are you actually burnt out? You need to rest, right? You actually need to rest. If your cause is that you're burnt out, you're experiencing burnout, you actually need to rest. If it's the issue with lack of motivation, you need to find the cause. Find like what exactly is wrong at the moment. Like what is you need to converse with yourself and start dealing with it. Like everybody has their personal way of how they deal with stuff. So find your cause first. Then balance your inner critic. Now I put balance here because I'm getting somewhere. Now the inner critic is something like that tells you you're not worth being a writer. Your articles are whack. You have to balance. Although sometimes your inner critic, it could actually help you improve, but you need to balance it. You should not allow it overtake that great writer in you. You should not allow it. You have to balance your inner critic. You have to look at those points where, okay, if myself is telling me I'm not a worthy writer, or I don't write so well, I go back to my article. I look at my article. I read it from the start to the end, and I admire my article. And I say, no, that's not true. My article is great actually, because I also look at the reactions I've gotten and say, no, that's not true. My article is great. But if it's like there's actually, you have some typos in this, your inner critic says you have some typos here in this article, then I should go through the article and say, oh, I spotted one typo. Okay, I could actually work on that. Or this sentence is not actually really clear. Are you not sure you want to enhance it? I could actually work on that. So you should balance your inner critic. Don't allow it to kill that vibe or that spark in you. Then next thing is be vocal. Talk to someone. It could be either someone you a writer you look up to, or your mentor, or your friend, or you could even do it on Twitter. Like you could just make a post and say, I'm experiencing writer's block. What should I do? And trust me, you're going to get a lot of comments, because the tech community on Twitter is really very great. That Everyone really wants to help you grow. So you should try to be vocal. Try to talk to someone. It could be a friend, it could be a mentor, it could be a writer you look up to on Hashnode. Like I look up to Victoria on Hashnode. Right? So it could be any, it could be whosoever you've seen fit to talk to. Be vocal to someone about what you're going through, and the person can actually get have insights on how to help you come out of this, how to help you overcome this writer's block, right? Then write yourself out of it. That's like the last point I want to really stress on, because you could go up on Google and you search how to overcome writer block. You're going to get tons of articles. Trust me, you're going to get like up to 1,000. I'm exaggerating though, but you get so many articles. So, but if there's something about practice here, practice makes you better. So if you don't actually sit down to write, you're not going to come out of it. Like in my case, I had to sit down. I had to tell myself, you have to get out of this. And when you want to write yourself out of it, do not start with the whole perfectionist idea. Let it be imperfect. Let the draft be messy. You could even write on a simple, a very even there's a 1 minute read you're writing on. Get out of this phase. You want to break out of this phase. So write yourself out of it. Sit down. If you're really good with cool music, have a shower, sit down, start to write, play some cool music, whatever gets you in that writing mood, do it. We mustn't be perfect. If it's 1 minute read, fine. You have because there's something with the mind. Once you just go out of that phase, be like, oh yes, I'm back to being a writer. So you have to write yourself out of it. So these are like the first steps I actually took, and it could really really help you a lot. Trust me. But you could really add yours to it, or how best you could, especially with burnout, right? Especially if the cause is burnout, you really need to rest, because rest is necessary, is important, right? So if it's burnout, you please add rest to part of these steps. Add rest. You really need to rest your mind and rest your brain, right? For you to get back on those creative ideas. So and I want to end this session with this quote. So I'm going to read it very slowly. You don't start out writing good stuff. You start out writing crap, underline crap, and thinking it's good stuff. And then gradually you get better at it. That's why I say one of the most valuable traits is persistence. So I really hope you enjoyed this session, and I really hope as if you're beginning to blog, or if you have been blogging and you decide to attend the Hashnode Technical Writing Bootcamp just to get better at your technical writing skills, you would experience writer's block at a point. You'd experience it, and when you experience it, try to try to make that decision that you are going to get out of it, because your articles are amazing, right? Your articles, you could even look at your Hashnode articles. You could go through them if you have the time. You could go through them one after the other, read the comments, and just smile and get better, right? So I have a task for you. So the task is this: write a blog post about what motivates you, or what motivated you to start writing as a developer. Be expressive as possible, right? So I want you to write a blog post about what motivates you, or what motivated you to start writing, so that whenever you experience writer's block, because you can't actually avoid it. You see, the topic was how to overcome, not how to avoid, because you can't actually avoid it, right? So this will serve as something like a reference, so you go back and get motivated again. So please do engage in these tasks, and Thank you so much for listening. You can connect to me via Twitter at Ikegah Ruth, or you could send a mail to me here. I'm always available to respond as per my time zone. Yeah, so I think we can go into the questions and answer session.
Yeah, thanks for the session. That was good, especially not only regarding the writer blog, but in general. Yeah, when you start to write as a beginner, a lot of insightful tips, especially that one sentence at the end. So it was really powerful. Maybe you can even share it later. So
Sure.
and so yeah, we will now start with a Q&A session. I will read some questions one by one. I started to put your Twitter handle in a link in a chat, but then you stopped share, so I had to go back quickly. So yeah, now it's there. No problem. Okay, as always, we will start with the question with the most upvotes. So first one is kind of popular. How do you overcome imposter syndrome?
How do you overcome imposter syndrome? That question is you. First, I want you to know it will always come. And I don't think anybody has overcome imposter syndrome because it will always hunt you down at some point, right? But you should. There are some steps you can help that helps you feel out of that or get out of that phase or that at that particular point. First, what I usually do is I try to talk to someone, be vocal about it, tell someone you are experiencing, because there's this thing with saying out what you feel, right? Because this imposter, when you have imposter syndrome, there's the whole lot of emotional attachment to it. So try to be vocal to someone first. Then you could keep a book. So I actually learned this from one of my amazing mentors, Angie Jones. You could keep a book where you can write down every good comment that was given or thrown at you. So when you write that down, you write like a list of all those every comment. So if Bruno says, so I got a lot of reactions here that my session was amazing. So I'm going to go write it down. So whenever I tell myself I'm not much of a good speaker anyway, I go back to that book and I say no. Some participants in the Hashnode Technical Writing Bootcamp said I'm amazing, and they said my session was great. So it begins to bring I begin to smile, right? I begin to give a big smile. So it helps you get out of that phase little by little. And something else you could do is take it easy on yourself. No pressure. No pressure. Just relax yourself and tell yourself you're going to get there. Because if you try to study or if you try to look at developers who are really doing very well, they put in practice. Like they put in so much practice. And those their initial period, it was really hard for them, but they put in so much practice. It was tough for them too. So there's the phase that get tough for you, or there's that phase where you feel you're not good enough, but you are going to get out of it. So these little tips are like what I do to help myself get out of that mood. Or you could do something you really like and forget about work for a moment. Right? Because when you take your mind off from work for a moment and maybe do something you really like, when you come back you feel energized, right? So that's some few tips I could give.
Yeah, and there's a really nice piece of advice there, and actually an actionable one. So to write down everything, because we tend to forget that, and we cannot think about all of the, let's say, positive comments or what we get, and it can strike us bad. So, but it's I like it. So once you are down, you can go back and see that people are actually appreciating what you are doing. So it kind of I can continue with the next question because it's kind of continue in the same manner. So how do you write without caring too much about the outcome, reaction, or response, as that is one of the major reasons of getting demotivated?
Yeah. So it's this part is really it's actually because those reactions, like you said in the question, it gives you that motivation to keep writing. Right. So what you do is you can balance it with why you started writing, because as a person, writing makes you better. At the initial point of your writing, you might not be getting interactions. With practice, with time, you just keep coming out and getting better. So it's always usually at that initial point of the writing phase for beginners, because you don't get like those interactions. So something I really do on Hashnode is I actually go to the news section, and I look at those new posts, and I try to share it. I don't actually think I don't actually wait for it to be something really I like or what I want to read. I try to share it for others to see it. Right? There are some points where so you could take this up as a habit. It goes a long way to help another beginner that just started writing improve their feed and everything. So I usually do that sharing a lot. I try to share the new articles. I try to go and share them. And sometimes when I share them, I get there's a comment that, oh, this article was actually helpful to me, right? So aside the question, you could do this as a habit. So you help someone else who is a beginner to put their article up there. But just know that as you're starting, that interactions might not really come in, like you might not really be visible at a point. But just know with practice, consistency, like consistency is one thing that for me as a developer has outshined me in so many ways, right? So with practice and consistency, you get to that point where your articles get those interactions. But if it doesn't get those interactions, trust me, tell yourself you learned something giving out that content, right? Because in the process of writing, you learn better, right? So if it did not help, which is almost impossible, it not helping somebody, it's almost impossible. If it did not help somebody, it actually helped you as a person. So don't allow it kill that vibe of your writing.
If I may add, also I have
Sure.
one personal example, so don't worry about the reactions. I mean, especially when you start writing, you don't have the audience. But I have one example. Maybe I can even share a link. So I wrote what we did on a project. It's pretty much when I was a junior, but years later I found out that some professor from at the university take that blog and actually use it as a teaching material, because it was kind of step by step. He liked it, and he was teaching students. And I even found out about that. I found the audio of that lecture, and like I was listening to the podcast, you can't even imagine the feeling how to see.
Yeah.
Though this is kind of hidden reaction that you don't see. But there
Yeah,
is,
exactly.
I didn't see it. Nobody shared it. Nobody liked it or whatever. But yeah, so sorry.
It was actually really very helpful.
So
Sure.
to the next question. So how did you get topics to write about?
Okay. So now I'm going to be practical about it. So let's say let me use myself as an example. I'm a Python developer. So the way I get topics is this. So whatever, like I said with the other, there's this mentorship session I engaged in, and I tried to write 12 articles for 12 weeks, like one article every week. So you can get topics from whatever you're learning about. So let's say I learned about for loops this week. I can write about for loops, right? So you can get topic ideas from whatever you are learning at that point. That's one way. Another way is Hashnode has even a great way to find topics to write on. So you could go to the ideas section, because I think people put up what topics or what blog posts or what they would like to see. You could visit that session and look at probably your stack, look at maybe someone is putting up saying, keeping an idea, I want this kind of article. You could start writing about that if you know how to actually do that, right? So you could either get it from whatever you're learning at the point, or you could use Hashnode has a very wonderful way to get you topic ideas. Hashnode is like the full package, right? Or you could, maybe you see a tweet or you see people talking about something they really find difficult with learning. Like probably someone says, I really find it difficult with understanding it. And another thing I want to, maybe the question might come up later, but another thing I want to say also is, do not when you want to write or when you get a topic idea, do not tell yourself that somebody has written on this before, should I actually write it? No, your perspective matters. Like, allow people see things from your perspective, because the way I write, the way Bruno writes is different. So we have our writing styles. So you could give I am Bruno a topic right now, the same topic, and would write differently about it. So if the topic idea matches with your friend, don't bother. Still write it, still give that content, because everybody wants to see it from your perspective. Because sometimes when I try to search up articles, when I look at this one, I'll be like, oh no, I don't understand this. I switch to the next one, right? So allow people see things from your perspective, and I hope this way is actually very helpful to the person that asked the question.
Okay, I have next question, which is short, but probably it's kind of more. You will have to elaborate more. What motivates you to write?
What motivates me to write? So I like sharing knowledge. And I like telling everybody what I do at that moment. I when I started learning, when I started coding, I really started with public learning. So I want to always tell somebody. I want to always let people see things from my perspective, how I look at them, how I understand things, and aside of wanting to give back or wanting to let others learn from my perspective, I actually enjoy writing because it's a way for me to learn, right? Because so I was trying to write the article I was trying to write. It's on I recently started learning Go, and I had done some basics on Go, and when I tried to write this article, I wasn't getting like the points were not coming. I was like, but I just took a tutorial on it, so why am I not getting how to write? The points were not coming. But when I researched, I said, oh, you can actually do this like this. So writing helps me learn better. I get to know how to do this in a different way. It helps me learn. So that's what motivates me to write, aside it being a way for me to share my knowledge to others.
And what do you do when you start writing a blog and then you realize that your blog or topic is more complex than you thought at first?
Okay, so with this last article I'm writing, like this article I'm writing that is not published yet, I plan publishing tomorrow. So I finished the draft. What I tried to do again after I finished writing, I tried to share it, like with the preview session on Hashnode. I tried to like share the article to someone who is a senior to help me go through it. And when she went through the article, she had some comments, and it was now to the point that I didn't really give much details about what I wanted to write. So at a point I wanted to stop. Like, trust me, I'm going to be very sincere. I don't say, oh no, maybe I just write on something else. But I persisted. So I know the last quote I gave, or the last quote I talked about persistence. I persisted. I said, no, I started this. I'm not going to waste my time, because I already typed this article. Why should I forget it? Why should I leave it behind? No, I'm going to continue. So I started researching more. I said putting up. So and that was like yesterday. I started researching about how to do this better. And right now I've gotten so many ideas to add to that topic. So the key here is persistence, right? So that's like my answer to that.
Yeah, persistence is the key. Don't give up on I don't know, maybe sometimes you'll feel down, but just maybe do it another day. So a little bit about, let's say, technical part of the actual writing up. So the question is, how do you get contents for your write-ups? And also arranging the content is somehow challenging. Do you have a format that you outline for your write-ups? So kind of approaching actual writing, the structure.
Yeah, exactly. So I really do well. What I do before I start writing anything, I do something like a template, right? So let me give you an example. So I'm a Python developer. I want to write about for loops, right? So I write up a template. What is a for loop? That's like one of the first heading. What is if the use of a for loop, right? How is it applied? How do you write practical step of how do you write a for loop? So with these 4 steps, I say, okay, I start writing, I start breaking it down. I break it down to chunks. So I try to, even though you want to start from the end point of how to write a for loop, you must not start from the beginning to the end. Wherever you want to start from, you want to start from the middle part of the article, no problem. So long you finish it. Right? So I try to have a template. And just I want to point out, Bolaji has a very great technical writing template. I'm going to search that. I have to look for that right now and send it here. Bolaji has a great technical writing template that you could look at and take from. Yeah. So having a template is my style, and like I just explained with the for loop, I try to break it down in chunks so I'll be able to write.
Yeah. Please share that template. Use the hashtag. Maybe if you are sharing it on Twitter or whatever.
Oh, sure.
And okay, we are out of time. So one more question, short one, but I think it's important that people get this. So how many words per article?
How many words? As much as you can write. I don't think anybody should tell you how many words. Be expressive as possible. Flex your muscles. Don't allow anybody tell you how many. If it's actually 10 words, which is not possible. I know you are capable of more than 10 words, right? But flex your muscles. Be expressive as possible. Don't allow anybody tell you how many words you should write. It's your perspective here. So it's except you're writing. So maybe you're writing like you're giving a task and there's a specification. 750 words or 1000 words, except there is a specification. But when you're writing as a blogger for yourself, for your audience, flex your muscles, be expressive, right? And no matter how many words it comes out as, that's fine, except you have a technique or you have something set out for yourself that, okay, I want to be giving content of 1000 words, then fine. And Hashnode has a way to count your words for you. You can look by the side and you get that already, right? So be expressive as possible and don't allow anybody limit your writing style. Write be at yourself, right? Just write your style.
Yeah, and don't make that anything put limits on your creative flow. Exactly. And so don't be I don't know, that you need to, I don't know, write over 3,000 or however words. Just create a blog. Okay, with this question, I would close the Q&A, and of course you can continue. I don't know, ask Ruth some questions if you have, maybe on Twitter or she even posted this email. So that would be it. Thanks, Ruth. It was a great session. A lot of tips for beginners and in general for content writers, for bloggers. So thanks again for the session. Meanwhile, in a chat section, I put the links while you talked, but for this Hashnode swag. So when you write the blog, I
can put up a link to my slide very quickly before the session goes off.
That would be even better. Maybe so they can. So there's a link. There's this Hashnode swag kit, so awesome. You can participate. And Next session is also interesting. It's about approaching the writing itself, writing principle, and actually topic selection, which was kind of this Q&A. So I believe it will be interesting for you. Make sure that you come to this session as well. Don't forget this Hashnode Bootcamp hashtag for if you are using it for your social medias. And yeah, submit your tasks on time. So what else can I say?
Sure.
So thanks again, Ruth, and
Thank you,
was
everyone. Yeah, thank you so much for having me.